Medical Intuitive Insights with your host, Dr. Gloria Warren, is a program that presents topics on medical intuition, holistic opportunities outside of mainstream society, and scientific research as applied today. Topics range from online intuitive readings to interviews unveiling alternative healing modalities and discussing them with inspirational leaders. Dr. Warren is the bridge within holistic arts while stressing the balance between the spiritual and physical self. So now, please welcome the host of Medical Intuitive Insights, Dr. Gloria Warren.
Can anxiety change your brain? Can your brain change your anxiety? What about your thoughts? Is your brain stuck in survival mode? Well, welcome to Medical Intuitive Insights. I am your host, Dr. Gloria Warren. Today, we'll explore one of the most misunderstood health conditions affecting millions of people worldwide, anxiety. Anxiety is often viewed as mental or emotional issue, but modern science tells us a much larger picture. Anxiety involves complex interactions between the brain, the nervous system, hormones, immune function even, gut microbiome, cellular signaling pathways, and even chronic inflammation. Throughout this program, we will examine how anxiety develops, why the body responds the way it does, and the role of neurotransmitters, along with stress hormones, practical approaches that you can learn that may actually help restore balance to both the brain and the body. Whether you are personally experiencing anxiety or you know somebody or care for someone who does experience it, understanding the simplistic science behind anxiety may be one of the most important steps towards healing and helping. Welcome to Medical Intuitive Insights. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Warren. Today, we'll explore one of the most common health challenges affecting millions of people worldwide, anxiety. Anxiety is often thought of as a just worrying, but modern science reveals that anxiety involves a complex interaction between brain, nervous system hormones, immune function, even chemistry in your body. So we'll examine what anxiety really is in the show, the brain regions involved, neurotransmitters that regulate mood, how anxiety affects the body, the role of nutrition and lifestyle, natural and medical approaches and treatment for anxiety, and practical steps to calm the nervous system that you can do by yourself. So is anxiety a mental problem, a physical problem, or both? The answer may just surprise you. So let's start here about what is anxiety. Anxiety is a natural human survival response. Sometimes people don't think of it that way, but it's designed to help us recognize and respond to threats. Historically, this response protects us from predators, natural disasters, physical danger, and social threats. However, many people today experience chronic activation of this survival system. It just doesn't want to stop. Common symptoms for this. Let's look at physical symptoms first. Rapid heartbeat, sweating, muscle tension, digestive upset, headaches, sleep disturbances. And then there's the emotional symptoms. Excessive worry, fear, irritability, restlessness, difficulty concentrating. With statistics, according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, anxiety disorders affect approximately 40 million adults just in the United States here alone, making us among the most common mental health situations globally. So we do have a guest today. Our guest is Janet Stackman. She is an oil specialist. Welcome, Janet, to our show. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Gloria? Whoops,
Well,
can you hear me?
yes, we're doing fine.
Good.
So you want to tell people what you are an expert at?
I've studied essential oils for 20 some years now. And I just love them. I use them for everything. I use them every day, different ones for different reasons. And in doing my research, I knew I would grab for ylang for anxiety. But like Gloria was saying, there's many different um, causes for
Right. And
anxiety.
we'll key into those as we come up with those situations, which is great. I think I've known you for quite some time. I don't even know how long, 25 years at least. Um, but I do know when I'm sick, I can help other people when they're sick, but when I'm sick, I have a difficult time thinking about what to do for myself. So I'll call on different friends for different things, and Janet's my one-stop shop for oils, especially too because of the type of oils she sells. You want to explain that to them?
I got started with Young Living oils. So I was exposed to them, and I've tried other brands because they might be a little less expensive, but they don't measure up. They don't even smell like the plant that they should be, like the frankincense, the peppermint, all of them actually. So I just keep going. I just stay with Young Living. I love them. They're therapeutic medicinal blends, quality. So I know I can take them any way I want to. I know we're not supposed to be talking really about internally ingesting oils. A lot of people are afraid of that, but I, for one, am not, as long as they are good quality oils. I don't want anything that's been. The owner of Young Living, Gary Young, he's now since passed. He really worked himself to death. And
Mm,
he had plants growing all over. He would go to all over the world, different countries, to see what they had. Was the best frankincense, the best myrrh, the best lavender, the best whatever. And so he was everywhere, and he would, he helped support the local people. But anyway, they're very high quality. He even built his own distilleries, and he had them tested by third company, testing
third party testing.
company, third
Hmm.
party. And so I trust him. Of course, if you want to put them on your skin, if you have sensitive skin, you have to use a carrier oil. My skin's pretty tough, so the only thing I would use carrier oil for would be like for oregano, a very hot oil. Even lemongrass, that's pretty hot too. But otherwise, I have no problem with them. But you can diffuse them, especially we're talking about anxiety. You can diffuse these oils while you sleep and wake up refreshed, and it'll help you.
Oh, I
Yeah,
never
because
thought of that. Get
anxiety
that
is
scent while you're sleeping and let it clear your mind.
absolutely.
What
You
are
can
some
clear
other ways you
coughs,
can use them?
colds, and so anxiety affects your sleep for some. They have anxiety, insomnia. So these can help you have a nice, deep, restful sleep all night long. So you're not up with your
Right,
mind racing. And so anyway, I'm in love with oils. And if they ask me what's one thing you can never live without, it would be my essential oils because they're there for me all the time. I mean, I haven't had a doctor in probably 40 years. And
right.
I get sick, I just use my oils and I make my own capsules and I'm done in pretty much one capsule, maybe two or three, depending on how far I let it go. You got to catch it
Right, right.
nip it in the bud. But even if it's gone too far, so I'll need maybe three, four, or five capsules, but then I'm done. And the miracle about these oils, I call them miracles in a bottle. If you have a stuffy nose and you put peppermint on your nose, and if you're sensitive, of course, use a carrier oil, um, your nose will stop running. Or if it's stuffy, it'll start running. And if it's running, it'll stop running. It's like they're innate. They're intelligent
Mm,
and they know exactly what the body needs and how to heal it. So we
right.
know that pills don't heal, medicines don't heal, um, supplements don't heal. All they do is put the body in a state where it can continue, it can pick up and continue it. It prompts the
Heal
body to
itself.
don't
Yeah.
steal. Mm-hmm.
So just a little note for the audience. Janet is a remarkable person, and obviously she loves her oils. I love oils too, but um, I'll just want to say that if something works for her, just like if something works for me, it doesn't mean it will work for you. The other thing is when you're trying something new or you're using oils, you need to consult with an expert or a medical professional of your choice, just to make sure that it won't contradict with anything else that you're taking. Usually oils are pretty forgiving, but You need to make sure that you're not going to burn your skin or it's not going to harm you. So, although we may say some things on this show, keep in mind, always consult with your medical professional of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, anyways, Janet, you were telling me one time, not too long ago, I believe it was, I I was so sick to my stomach and it was lasting, a few weeks and I had some kind of virus, obviously. And you just told me, well, have you tried peppermint oil? And I'm like, how could I have not have tried peppermint oil? I could not believe how, oh, I don't know, absent-minded I was in this state. And I turned around, I said, I'm going to do it right now. And I did some peppermint oil tea, and I was like 10 times better. I mean, I was still, a little sick, but not to my stomach. So I still had a few of the other symptoms of fatigue and whatnot that comes with usual viruses that go around. But I was just amazed. And it reminded me of my aunt who always had peppermint candies. My Auntie Irene, she always had peppermint candies around, and that was her answer to upset stomach all the time. And I forgot. It's just everybody forgets from time to time. So it's good to know people like Janet and give her a call. By the way, if people want to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, they can call me at 847-208-9230, or they can email me at jstackman, STAACKMANN, at sbcglobal.net.
And we
I'd
will
love,
give that information again towards the end
okay,
of the show, just letting you know. So, so you've been selling um, these essential oils for around 20 years plus,
21
correct?
years. Yeah. So one interesting story is when before COVID, we even knew about COVID. It was, I believe, February of 2020, and then they shut us down in early March. And so
Mhm.
that week before, I was up at midnight. My stomach woke me up, and I was in the bathroom for about 4 or 5 hours, and I was so sick. I knew I should take my peppermint. I knew it, but I was so sick I couldn't imagine even a drop of water in my
Oh,
mouth, how sick I was. So after
mhm.
about, I think it was about 5 hours, I said to myself, well, are you going to sit here for another five, or are you going to bite the bullet and take your peppermint? So I made myself a capsule with 2 drops of peppermint, 4 drops of lemon, and within 20 minutes, everything was done. And it was like 5 in the morning. I didn't even need to go back to sleep. By 7 or 8, I was up vacuuming the house. I mean, and that was it.
You became
So,
the Energizer Buddy in a flash, right? Just like we said, though, just because it works for her does not mean it will work for you.
yeah.
These are
Mhm.
just some storytelling that we're saying right now. So,
Even like peppermint schnapps, we used to she's my mom.
oh
We didn't,
yes,
but every time
yeah.
she was did or had an upset tummy, she would drink her schnapps, and then we'd be like, "Oh, hitting the bottle again, mom, huh?" But no, I
No,
mean,
she had a reason.
so I think peppermint is one of those that would help pretty much everybody. I think there's other different oils that people might be allergic to, so you could always do
Hmm.
a skin test or something if you're going to use it topically. um, or internally. But diffusing is always a winner. And then anybody who's around you, you're disinfecting the air, and anyone who comes into your home is getting these wonderful benefits. So
Well,
anyway,
I thank you so much for letting us know that. I will always remember that, at least I hope so. So, we are going to take a short break. You're listening to Medical Intuitive Insights. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Warren. We have Janet here with us. So, stay with us and we'll uncover how your brain chemistry influences every anxious thought and physical symptom of anxiety. We'll be right back.
Mike Zorek, a 3-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorick, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorick has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back. Our topic today is Anxiety Unlocked, the brain chemistry and body connection. Let's now talk about the brain anxiety circuit, that connection there. Several brain structures work together to create anxiety responses. It's not just one part of the brain, it's the entire brain. But more importantly, specific areas have more electrical current per se going through. And one is the amygdala, often called the brain's alarm system. It's like that red light, danger, danger. And it detects threats, processes fear, initiates the survival responses. When overactive, the amygdala may trigger anxiety even when no real danger exists. The prefrontal cortex, another area, functions with logic and planning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. A healthy prefrontal cortex helps calm the amygdala. During chronic stress, this calming influence can weaken. It kind of reasons with the amygdala. Oh no, it's okay. It was just some thunder, or something of that nature. So it communicates directly with the amygdala. The hippocampus functions are memory formation, context processing. It distinguishes real threats from remembered threats. Chronic stress may shrink the hippocampal volume over time, so therefore it's not good to be under chronic stress. HPA axis, that is the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, acts as the body's stress command center, pretty much. It coordinates brain threat detection, cortisol release, hormonal response. Yes, hormones do play a part in this, and nervous system activation. So let's look at the chemistry of anxiety in your brain. Anxiety is strongly influenced by neurotransmitters. Serotonin functions as a mood stabilization scenario, emotional balance, sleep regulation. Low serotonin activity has been associated with increased anxiety symptoms. Because of its activity, GABA, it's gamma aminobutyric acid is the brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. I use stress gummies sometimes just to take away a little of the stress because of certain people I'm living with right now. So I'll take a GABA stress gummy because all it does is it creates like a zen. Also, another one that works would be valerian root. You are not going to notice a night and day like, hey, yeah, it's working, or I'm high or anything. It's nothing like that. It just calms the brain, but you still have all your logical reasoning intact. It's wonderful. So as a calming neurotransmitter, it functions to reduce excessive neural firing, promotes relaxation, and helps induce sleep. Low GABA activity may contribute to panic attacks and chronic anxiety. Remember, it may in most people, but maybe not in certain people. And then there's dopamine. Dopamine functions with motivation, reward, pleasure, focus. Imbalance can contribute to both anxiety and depression. Then there's neuroepinephrine functions, which it helps with alertness, vigilance, stress response. But excessive neuroepinephrine activity may create hypervigilance, racing thoughts, elevated heart rate. I've seen that a lot with PTSD patients. So it can happen in anybody, but hopefully not. Glutamate. Glutamate is the brain's primary excitatory neurotransmitter. Too much glutamate activity may contribute to overstimulation, anxiety, and sleep disturbances. So taking a drug that has glutamate in it, or it helps to produce more glutamate in your body, may not be the answer for you. So, be careful what you take. So the body connection. Anxiety is not confined to the brain. The entire body participates in this whole concert per se. The cardiovascular system, for example, anxiety can cause increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, palpitations. Some people get angina from anxiety. Just a thought. This occurs because adrenaline prepares the body for fight or flight. Digestive system. It's also many people, they experience nausea, irritable bowel syndrome, some of those symptoms, stomach discomfort, appetite changes. The gut contains millions of neurons, believe it or not, that communicate directly with the brain, just like the heart, through the vagus nerve. So, immune system. Chronic anxiety can increase inflammatory activity. Inflammation has been linked directly to depression, anxiety disorders, fatigue, and cognitive dysfunction. Muscular system, another area people don't usually think of when it comes to anxiety. Persistent anxiety often creates neck tension. Now that's a one we can all relate to, I'm sure. Shoulder tightness, jaw clenching, chronic pain. It also can contribute to how your brain perceives that pain, which we discussed that in our last show. So the body remains physically prepared for danger. Sometimes it gets overreactive. So Janet, what types of oils do you think could help with this muscular tension in the neck, shoulders, jaw, and perhaps even chronic pain from being in a fight or flight too long?
Well, probably one of the number one oils to use. We were talking about the gut brain. The ginger would be excellent for that
Ah,
because it really starts with the gut, which we didn't realize. And
yeah.
lavender. Lavender is always wonderful. Now, some of these you
Yeah.
can't use when you're nursing or pregnant or nursing. And lavender is one of them you should avoid. But for everybody else, lavender is wonderful. And we have an oil called Joy, which is a blend, and it's heavenly. And that just would bring joy and overcome the anxiety that you're feeling. But for neck pain, again, I'm going to go with there's so many. There's peppermint. Um, um, what else? Aroma seeds would be wonderful. Oregano is really good for muscles, but it's a hot oil, and it has a
Mm,
smell. I don't think I would put that on my neck and shoulders to be smelling that all the time. There's just too many other ones.
right.
So, um, bergamot and all the citrus oils are wonderful to uplift you, to get you over the depression, because depression can be a byproduct of the anxiety as well. And
Mhm.
and frankincense, this is wonderful too. Whoops.
I love
Anyway,
using frankincense in
very
my house.
safe, huh?
I love using frankincense in my house. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
reason why churches use frankincense. A lot of religions, they use frankincense for a purpose. And just to put it in my house, I feel like the air is all clear and all the negativity is out and gone. And
that's why
so
they have baby
anytime I can,
the frankincense. It's an
yeah.
overall, and clary sage. This has kind of a strong scent as
Oh,
well, but it's really good because hormones are also involved in the anxiety production. So this is a hormone balancer, clary sage.
The clary sage. Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they have Young Living Oils. They have scientific research to
Oh,
back
absolutely.
it up. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, Gary Young researched all that. So again, but then if you're using like bergamot or orange, which is orange is such a versatile oil. I never realized how
Nice
versatile.
joyful scent there again.
Yeah. But when you're out in the sun, if you're putting it on your skin, if you're using it topically, just be careful. Don't go in the sun for a while or cover yourself
Mm.
up. And patchouli, who knew? Patchouli was a good oil too. Where we go?
Yeah. I love
For
the smell of patchouli. Yeah.
yeah, for
Especially if
anxiety.
it's a good oil. And you
Yes.
can get some that are no good. I mean, it's like, oh, that's not patchouli.
Well,
Just like sandalwood, same thing. It doesn't smell like sandalwood, but then you get a good oil and it's like, oh boy, that smells really good.
well, it's interesting because when Gary Young wasn't happy with a certain, like if the lavender wasn't harvested, he just didn't like it. He would sell it off to other companies who didn't care about the quality. That's pretty
Mm.
interesting.
Wow.
But other ones, and another one I thought of too, which I don't have in the house anymore, is I have to get more Valor. Valor is a blend too. And it's amazing because if you put that on your shoulders, it gives you a sense of confidence and courage. Where when you're anxious, you have no confidence or courage. You just in
Mm.
your head so much that you can't see the forest for the trees. You're just
Yeah.
but some other ones are vetiver. Vetiver is very good for your emotional stress and panic
Nice.
attack I mentioned before. And insomnia and
Hmm.
depression. And it's for the brain and focusing. It helps you focus better. And Roman chamomile. I don't have that in the house anymore either. I make a lot of blends for people, and so I use up my oils, and I think, oh my gosh, when did that disappear? I don't keep track of them enough. But that's really good for panic attacks and fear and your heart
Mm.
racing. The chamomile is really good.
Yeah.
And you can put
That's
these
one I
drops like
can't take.
Gloria does. She puts them in her tea or hot water. So
Hmm.
if you don't want to put them in a capsule, you can just put a drop or two in a cup of tea or a cup of hot
Right.
water.
I really want to take chamomile sometimes, but I can't. Get breathing problems from it. So just
Uh,
as a reminder to everyone out there, if there's any of the ingredients in any specific oil mixture or combination, that you may be allergic to, please don't try the oil. There's plenty of others to find
well,
something that works.
yeah, I think that's a good. That's what I was going to say. I think God gave us such a selection because some
Hmm.
can't tolerate some of them. So there's always plan A, B, C, D, all of them.
Yeah.
Um, coriander and cumin are very good too. And
Oh,
holy
yeah.
basil. Yeah, holy basil is really an awesome oil. Holy basil is really, it's also called tulsi, and
Yeah.
it's a very excellent oil and plant to grow. And manuka, we know about manuka oil, a honey, but manuka oil, which I have to
Oh,
get some because I've heard such great things about it. It's actually, since the bees pollinate that to make the manuka honey, the oil is supposed to have this wonderful fragrance of a mix of flowers and honey. So I think that's just really intriguing.
yeah, order me one, please. We are going to
Holy-
have to take another short break here. We will pick up when we come back. We'll be back to discuss the surprising connection between anxiety, nutrition, hormones, and your gut microbiome. We'll be right back.
Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back to Medical Intuitive Insights. And while we're exploring our Anxiety Unlocked title, let's look into the chemistry and body connection, particularly hormones, gut health, along with the anxiety. So let's talk about hormones for a minute. Cortisol, fight or flight, our body produces more cortisol. It's produced by the adrenal glands that sit right on top of by your kidneys. So the functions of this adrenaline is energy mobilization, blood sugar regulation, and stress adaptation. Chronic cortisol elevation, though, may contribute to sleep problems, weight gain, fatigue, mood disorders. This is one of my particular problems. My body's constantly in fight or flight, so I need to use some of those relaxing oils, for aromatherapy. I'm going to try that nighttime one, definitely. So the gut-brain axis, this is on how the brain communicates with the gut, and not just the stomach, your intestines, and everything below the stomach as well. So they communicate back and forth through the vagus nerve. Approximately 90% of the body's serotonin is produced within the digestive tract. So gut microbiota influences neurotransmitter production, immune function, inflammation, and mood regulation. There's that inflammation a million times over. I'm going to keep mentioning it to everybody. That also contributes to aging at a faster rate. So nutrient deficiencies associated with anxiety, there's quite a few there, and we need to heed these warnings. Some are known, some are ones you may not have heard of before. So magnesium supports nervous system stability, muscle relaxation, and stress regulation. Vitamin D supports brain function, immune regulation, and mood balance. Yes, mood balance with vitamin D. Who would have thought? Vitamin B supports energy production, neurotransmitter synthesis, and cognitive health. Omega-3 fatty acids supports brain cell membrane health, anti-inflammatory response, and emotional regulation. So natural strategies for calming anxiety are something that we need to learn how to do, especially by ourselves. When you're at work, when you're on the train, when you're driving, you can do some of these things, and it'll help to relieve some of that anxiety that you may be experiencing. Deep breathing, that's the first one. Slow, diaphragmatic. In other words, use your diaphragm to breathe, stimulates the vagus nerves and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. So you're going to lift up your rib cage and use your abdomen to breathe in and out. So you're using the lower part of your lungs. Physical activity, exercise may increase serotonin levels, increase dopamine, and reduce cortisol while improving sleep. Meditation, research shows meditation can reduce amygdala activity and improve emotional regulation. Sleep optimization. Poor sleep significantly worsens anxiety symptoms. So what is your goal? Your goal should be something 7 to 9 hours sleep nightly, consistent sleep schedule. This makes a huge difference. Do you miss waking up in the morning with energy and wanting to get up and just move? Maybe you need to consider your sleep schedule. Plus, just before your sleep schedule, I consider that as part of your sleep schedule, your winding down time before you go to sleep. Consistent sleep schedule. Reduce evening blue light exposure. Phones, computer. I keep turning mine off on my computer, but when I shut down and come back on, it's back on. So I'm now usually using these for the most part. Maybe not during my show, but when I'm working, I wear my blue blockers. Ashwagandha and herbal support. Herbs are absolutely amazing. Next week, I'm going to come out with my first herbal book, and I will let you know on the next show the name and everything else. It will be sold on Amazon as well as in bookstores. So ashwagandha may support stress resilience. I think ashwagandha, I will take a capsule every now and then if I'm under a lot of stress. A lot of people do. Passion flower may promote relaxation. Lemon balm, I think Janet even mentioned lemon balm oil. It may help reduce nervousness. Chamomile, support calmness and sleep. Lavender to reduce feeling, anxiety, and tension, just like in the oils. It's wonderful, whether you're taking a lavender type capsule or you're waving lavender sticks. I do that. I have a lavender bee farm in the front of my house, and all these bees, they don't bother you, but can you sit on a bench and just hear them buzzing all around you and attacking the lavender? They love it. That's my anxiety and tension release. So let's move on to medical treatments. This is a really important part of the show because people need to know what medical treatments are available as well as integrative approaches. So treatment options vary depending on the severity. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, helps identify thought patterns, reframe fears, develop coping strategies. This is very commonly used with PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome patients, to divert their thought patterns in different ways. It's also used in Alcoholics Anonymous and different groups all over the globe, different types of coping strategies where they can help teach you. They're amazing. Medications, common categories include the SSRIs. So normally serotonin is released between nerve cells, the neurons, and then reabsorbed back into the sending part of the neuron, process called reuptake. So SSRIs block or slow the reuptake process. Usually this is at the D2 receptor in the brain. That's a little technical, but that's about it. Allowing more serotonin to remain available or trapped in that space between the neurons, which may improve communication with brain cells involving mood, anxiety, and regulations. Common SSRIs are fluoxetine, izidine, sertraline, I think it's called, escitalopram, citalopram. Anything with the pram or teen at the end usually has a neurological effect. So there's many different types that are out there. If that's the path you wish to take, is that the path that you and your medical provider have discussed, then it's there. Just always remember, though, if you're going to take something specifically that is chemical, it may help in some ways, but there's always side effects. But there's side effects with everything. At the same time, those side effects, one of them may be your body will not produce as much of that serotonin or dopamine without it. So you can't just come off of it. You have to taper down and influence more of your own to be produced. So they can be for anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorders, major depressive disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Potential benefits of SRIs may help reduce excessive worry, improve mood, decrease panic symptoms, improve emotional resilience, support healthier sleep patterns. Common side effects: some individuals may experience nausea, headache, sleep disturbance, dry mouth, sexual side effects, etc., etc., etc. You can imagine what I'm talking about. So, by the way, SNRIs is serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors. I'm sorry, but that's Actually, one of my friends helped develop some of those. So genius, obviously. Then there's the SNRIs. We just discussed some of that there. Let's talk more about, we did the conditions and benefits, side effects, so we're good with all that. Integrative care. Many patients benefit from other types of care, sometimes from combining things like counseling, nutrition, exercise, stress reduction, oils even, medical evaluation, social support. So there's different things that can be used together. Sometimes you can be on an SNRI and have counseling as well as discussing the nutrition and things of that nature. So anyways, how about you? Janet, are there any other oils that you think may help with the serotonin or the hormone production under?
Yeah, lots of these oils do all that. And other ways that I didn't tell you about of applying them, you can simply inhale them out of the bottle. You can put
That's
a
what I
drop
do.
under your nose.
Or
You
tea.
can put them in your hands and, smell, and you can put them on the back of your neck to ease the tension, on your temples, diffusing. There's just so many ways to use them. Um, let's see. I know there was one that, well, the clary sage is really good for the hormones for sure. And if you're of still childbearing age and you get PMS, that would be the oil. And they say they actually put it on the outside of your ankle, which is an unusual
Okay.
place but I guess
Maybe
it's,
an acupuncture point. It's
oh
all
yeah, it must
connected.
be. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't question. I just do it and I'm way past childbearing age, but it's, as we get older, we're losing our hormones. And in lieu of hormone replacement therapy, this is a good option. And um, Young Living also has a it's called anyway, it's a progesterone, and you do that, and then there's a PD-20, and that's another hormonal. So you do the PD-20; those are capsules that they have already made up, and you put the clary sage on the outside of your ankle, and that balances your hormones for the day, which is really nice. And then the progesterones, that's what you put that in different. You have to move that around, much like a nicotine patch. You would move that around. So one day you might put it on the inside of your arm, wherever there's soft tissue, or the inside of your thigh, or the other arm the next day. And I know a woman who went off of it for a while, and she was right back on it because I think it was a mood stabilizer as well. So because the hormones do
Interesting.
affect our moods, yeah.
I'm
But
going to add something here.
mhm.
There's this, the internet's exploding with toxicities from supplements now. And, a little always is good. You can't overdo a good thing. And no matter whether it's taking capsules or taking pills for nutritional supplements. But, I'm a minimalist personally. I minimize everything that goes into my body. I feel my body's a temple and I'm very careful what I put in it. Oils is a good replacement though, because you don't have those different types of chemicals or fillers in the oils. And you can choose which, carrier oil you put things in. And I like that idea. I like to choose and be very careful. So stay tuned for our final segment. We're going to discuss practical daily habits that help retain the brain away from chronic anxiety as a precautionary measure, right? As we explore the practical daily anxiety reset. We'll be right back.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life.
Welcome back to Medical Intuitive Insights. Yes, we are going to look at practical daily anxiety reset. However, I just want to get a little bit more into what I'm hearing on the internet lately, and I don't agree. And so there's all this hype about menthol folate and B complex and supporting to support the brain chemistry, and saying that some of this is all you need. And that may not be true. I just think that you need to do your own research, be self-sustainable. B vitamins collectively, like B complex, brain metabolism, stress resilience, neurotransmitter synthesis, and nervous system health. Very important, I feel, for B complex. And I do agree with the B complex. I think everybody needs to add some of that to their diet. Now, the menthol folate supports serotonin production, dopamine synthesis, regulate homocysteine levels, participates in DNA synthesis and repair, supports healthy brain function. A lot of these things, though, do that. So we talk about brain function and vitamins. You know, there are specifics like B12 assists the myelin formation, and I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to memory. Because the myelin sheath, they've proven now, research, that the myelin sheath is worn off of the axon. It's part of the neural synaptic area of the brain. It wears off, and then the memories kind of like get lost in translation from one to the next of the neurons. So I think B12 is very important. It also helps with memory difficulties, and that's why it helps with memory difficulties, mood change, anxiety-like symptoms. So that's something to consider. The methylation connection, particularly the biochemical process called methylation, it regulates neurotransmitter DNA repair, cellular energy, nervous system function. Also helps with serotonin and dopamine. But I think that there's too much focus on just those specific things. Magnesium is important for the muscle relaxation, stress reduction. D, I mean, we have basically many vitamins and nutrients here that I think are just as important as the others. Zinc, neurotransmitter function, that's what it supports. Brain communication, now isn't that one really important? It's not mentioned in these others. So just a thought. Immune health as well, and stress response regulation. By the way, 25 milligrams a day is more than enough of zinc. Don't do 50 unless you have a virus, because zinc does upset your red blood count. So you only want to take it for short periods of time, up to 2 weeks, when you have a virus or you're really ill. Iron, same thing. It helps with dopamine production, energy metabolism, oxygen transport. However, too much iron is a bad thing. It can give you constipation and also hurt, get too high in your blood. Selenium, antioxidant, thyroid function, brain health, immune balance. See, there's so many things. Your omega-3 fatty acids, your neuroplasticity. I like that, and I think that was mentioned with that program. Anti-inflammatory, emotional regulation. So vitamin C, I'm just going to do some highlights here. Neurotransmitter synthesis for vitamin C, always good. Vitamin E, brain health. Choline, memory, learning, cognitive performance. Ooh, I like that, choline. Yeah, potassium, neurotransmission, muscle function, electrical signaling in the brain, very important. Calcium, neurotransmitter release, nervous. See, so I'm kind of done going over that in a sense, but you can tell there's a trend, and that trend is, although companies may come up with these specific things, you need just a good multiple vitamin, pretty much. And I think that you need to consider that you need a little of everything. It's not just 3 things. There's so many products out there trying to be sold, and I'm just saying, heed with caution. All right, let's look at the practical daily anxiety reset. Simple daily habits. Morning sunlight exposure. The monks, they go out in the morning and they just look at the sun. They do sun gazing even. It's amazing what it does to your brain. Hydration. That's Nurse Peggy's big thing. I know that, hydration. And walking out there and deep breathing. I do my deep breathing when I'm walking, or when I'm speed walking is what I do. But I do my breathing and count with the walking as well. It's meditative at the same time. I really pile up when I can. Gratitude journaling. I know some people that are doing this, and it's absolutely releasing for them. Social connection. That's where you come in, Janet. I need you. You're a good friend.
I need you.
Yeah. Turn off that TV, by the way. You don't need excessive news, spitting things out, media agendas and all of that. You don't need to hear that crap. So consistent sleep schedule. We went into that. Small habits regulate the cortisol, serotonin, dopamine, nervous system activity. And over time, the brain learns that the environment is a safe place. Closing here. I wanted to thank you again, Janet, for being on the show with me today. Could you please tell them how to get a hold of you, our audience?
Oh, sure. Once again, my phone number is 847-208-9230. And my email is jstackman, STAACKMANN, at sbcglobal.net. And Gloria, my hat's off to you too, because you are the most awesome person in my life. You are a wealth of information. Every time I talk to you, I say, how old are you? Because you lived a million lifetimes in this one lifetime. There's nothing you haven't done, from creating drugs to teaching special ed. And oh my gosh, the wealth of information. All I say to you is, how do you know that? How do you know that? Oh my God, you're in every spectrum of the universe. You're just amazing. I don't know anyone like you in my whole.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So grateful that we crossed that.
I'd have to contribute it to a 4-letter word. It's called NERD. So anyways, anxiety is not simply all in your head. It is a dynamic interaction between brain circuitry, neurotransmitters, hormones, immune health, gut health. Understanding these connections empowers us to move away from fear and confusion toward knowledge, resilience, and healing. So keep in mind, your brain is always listening to your daily habits. Feed it calm. Nourish it with health, and it can learn a new story. Thank you for joining us here today. Until next time, take care of your mind, nurture your body, and remember, there for the grace of God go I, as well as healing often begins with understanding. Have a good one.
Thank you, Gloria.
This has been Medical Intuitive Insights with host Dr. Gloria Warren. Tune in each week as Gloria shares over 40 years of experience and yearns to provide knowledge derived from intuition and research. Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern.